What's going on, everyone? So, Victor Wembanyama, obviously an absolutely incredible talent, really making a case and an argument for one of the top 5, 7 players in the world. He's kind of cool. He started off and it was like, man, this guy might be the best player in the world. Kind of cooled off a little bit these last few games, but he's so incredibly young. He's only going to get better, right? Particularly in the way he responds to the types of defenses teams are throwing at him, right? You've seen a lot of teams kind of, it's copycat league, right? One team kind of figures out a way to slow somebody down. Every team kind of does that. Particularly once the double team or the trap commits, being able to make that pass, make that play. Saw it a lot, particularly in the Phoenix Suns game, where there were several occasions where like Harrison Barnes guy commits. And as soon as he takes that step, you need to recognize that, dump that down. It's an easy layup, right? But instead, he one time missed it entirely, just shot over the double, I think it was like even triple team. And then another time he made the pass, but it was too late, right? Like it's just identifying things. He's only going to improve and get better. But you have your bona fide superstar, right? De'Aaron Fox, back, first game, looked good in his first game. Need to kind of build that chemistry with him and Victor Wembanyama. Little clunky there still, but I trust that they'll kind of figure those things out. Only going to improve, only get better. You kind of have your two stars, right, on a very young team that, there was questions going into. But this team is incredibly scrappy, right? Like this team, like I love it. You have Victor Wembanyama, the superstar stuff. And whenever you have like your guy or guys, right? Like, okay, this is our star, these are our two superstars, whatever, right? You think of guys, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, SGA, like all these guys, right? Anthony Edwards. How do you build, or how are you going to build around those players? And each one kind of has a thing. Like Luka and Jokic are very similar in the style in which you want to do that. SGA and Ant, you can kind of make similarities too, right? So on and so forth, right? Wemby is such unique talent, such a unique player. It's kind of like, well, how do you want to go about this? And Brian Wright, he kind of gave us a little clue on kind of the direction that they wanted to go, and that was just building a defensive juggernaut in a lot of ways, right? That they wanted to be, Brian Wright even said himself, they want to be the best defensive team in basketball. And they've been number 2 in defense, behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? A team that has shown like, hey, we can defend at a high level. A lot of that is with the help of Victor Wembanyama and his defensive. He just covers so much ground and whatnot. But you just look at this team across the board. Obviously, Stephon Castle. You knew what you were getting the moment he entered the league, right? A guy with UConn that just like built that reputation, is just that Swiss Army knife. Hey, whatever you need from me tonight. Need me to go get 10 assists? Gotcha. Need me to go get 20 points? Gotcha. Need me to go get 12 rebounds? Gotcha. Right? Need me to make plays and be the primary ball handler and point guard? Sure. You want me to just buy in, do the... Like I talked about Stephon Castle as like the Jimmy Butler. Right? Not saying he is as good or ever even will be as good or anything like that, right? And they are very different players in a lot of ways. But what I mean by the Jimmy Butler comparison is like Jimmy Butler is one of the more unselfish stars, right? And he always has been, right? You talk about guys that, stars usually, they're used to their certain field goal attempts. They want their numbers. They have to go get their 20 for the night or whatever. Where Jimmy Butler, he doesn't really care. It's like, hey, you want me to go give you 20? I'll give you 20. You want me to just sit here and impact and play defense, do the dirty work and die for loose balls or do us? Sure, no problem. Whatever you need from me, I got you today. See a lot of that in Stephon Castle. But even beyond that, Devin Vassell, I thought, has done a good job. Julian Champagnie, Jeremy Sohan, obviously, has done a lot of that. Even Keldon Johnson, I thought, has done a really good job of just kind of, being that buy-in guy. You've seen, promise from guys like Carter Bryant and things like that. And De'Aaron Fox is even a guy that can be that kind of scrappy guy. That can be that guy that, when he's committed and bought into it, can be that defensive player and be that point of attack and generate the steals. I mean, his nickname's Swiper, right? Like, so, you look at the Spurs team and it's like, okay, you have your Victor Wembanyama, you have, one of the handful of best players in all of basketball. And then you have a bunch of just really good young talent. And it's like, how are they having the success they're having early on? Because they're just scrappy, right? They're young, they're athletic, they're a little wet behind the ears, so they don't really know. They're just out there hooping in a lot of ways, right? They're just there playing basketball, playing kind of free. Mitch Johnson, I think, has done a much better job than what we saw last season. Obviously, it's still very early, and what does this team look like when they start to face some real adversity and get some tough spots and stuff like that? But nonetheless, right, like I've been very impressed with the Spurs team and what they've been able to accomplish outside of obviously the win-loss column is nice, being 7-2 at the time of this video, right? Like it's that in and of itself is great to see. And, you want to keep building and stacking upon that. But again, it's the manner in which they're winning, right? Like they're putting up numbers offensively while also being able to defend at a high level defensively. Right? You're seeing both sides of the basketball there. You're seeing this team really just, again, play very free. Be willing to do the dirty work and win around the margins. Right? Like that's the key. Playing within the margins. Right? There's going to be games where you just don't have it offensively, or it's just a rough night, or Wemby's just struggling, or whatever. A team's really been able to slow him down. How do you win those games? How do you win those games when your shot's not falling and stuff? You just work, right? It's that simple. You can win a lot of games in the NBA just by outworking the other team, just by just doing the little things that the other team isn't, by being just a little more scrappier than them. Right? Like you can put yourself in a very winnable, successful environment, game in and game out, night in and night out. Look, bad games happen, nights happen, stretches happen, all of it, right? Like you're going to have these things. But again, it's how do you perform on a nightly regular basis? Are you reaching the level that you need to consistently win games and consistently put yourself in just a better position than your opponent? And a lot of that is, again, just effort and buy-in and energy and, making the winning plays and making the tough calls and the tough decisions and diving for loose balls and, just, again, out-hustling your opponent, outplaying and performing your opponent. And so, Spurs deserve a lot of credit. They look like a very good basketball team. They look like a very complete, basketball team that just kind of needs to come into their own. Right? Like they're a team that, has all that they need. Like, could you make some trades? Sure. Right? Could you kind of expedite this process a little bit? Sure. But you look at this team as is, and it's like, they just need time. Right? Like, so anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.